front jack stands yet again. Let's go. Hey everyone, Jason here again. I'm cracking the rear diff. I'm gonna drain it. This is my first. I drained it a long time ago with the dealer, like around 15,000 when I did my CVT flush. And so this is my first time redoing it by myself, and I had to crack this filler bolt to 10 mil, and I loosened off the bottom one as well. So you can use, if you don't have any impacts or anything, I used this 10 millimeter Allen wrench with a little extension here, and I made a pseudo lever like this to break free. You got to use a lot of strength if you're going to do it under here. Make sure you have a lot of room, right? The more room you have, the easier it is. Anyway, I'm just letting the fill plug drain out. The fluid looks pretty good, to be honest. We're going to see how many metal shavings there are on the bottom here. Here we go. That looks pretty good. No metal shavings on here either. So, all right. You learn by doing things. This is my first time doing it, so hopefully some of you guys have probably already done this too. So, one thing that's interesting to note about the differential in the Impreza and Crosstreks is the difference between the CVT and the manual transmissions. So the manual transmission has a center differential. It's a center gear differential. So that can split mechanically power to the front and rear wheels 50-50. In the CVT's case, it's a little bit different. It's similar to the automatic transmissions that Subaru used to use. And how they transfer power to the rear is through a clutch pack that squeezes, a bunch of discs and puts friction on them. And that's how you get the power transfer to the rear. And so if you look here, I'm going to turn one of the wheels. And typically a differential is going to turn, it's going to turn the other wheel if I turn this wheel, right? But you'll notice that the drive shaft is spinning right now. Now, if this was a mechanical differential, I would be invoking some sort of rotational force on the center differential, and then the front wheels would probably turn, right? But here, since there's a clutch pack, it's actually completely free. The drive shaft to the rear of the car is completely freely spinning, and only when the CVT and its hydraulic fluid, CVT fluid, is engaging those clutch packs is when you actually start clamping into the front transmission. So that's an interesting thing. I originally thought that these were like one ways or something because it wasn't turning the other wheel, but somebody told me that if you hold on to the center drive shaft and then turn these wheels, this differential gear in here is going to do what you're expecting, right? So yeah, the CVT, it has like a clutch pack at the front. Very interesting design. They say 60-40 front to rear power split on typical driving, and then when you're really giving it the beans is a 50-50 split, just like the mechanical differential. So those are some different driving dynamics that one might encounter between a manual transmission and a CVT. All right, so I've let the fluid drain out. It doesn't look too bad. It's you can see there's no chunks or anything, so that's good. All right. We're going to be filling this rear diff with any kind of 75 weight 90 synthetic oil that is rated for GL5. So you want to see the GL5 API there. That just meets the specifications for the hypoid gears, which are kind of like bevel gear, differential, kind of high stress kind of stuff. There is an 80 weight 90, which just has a higher pressure rating for like heavier weight vehicles, like if you're towing, racing, that kind of stuff. This car does not put out enough torque, I don't think, to merit the 80 weight 90, but it is cheaper, and I think it's good for heat. So it can it's a little bit more viscous when it's hot. So it depends on what you're doing, but I'm gonna just for the rear, I'm gonna do this Lucas synthetic 75 weight 90 GL5 gear oil. I'm gonna be using this siphoning pump to get it up there. So I just pumped up the whole thing. This is 1 quart, and they said that it takes just a little bit shy of 1 quart, but I filled it up just, and it started making the suction sounds when you're like drinking a straw, that sound. And now it's just barely overflowing, so I think I got the perfect amount in there. I'm gonna rotate some of this stuff here to get all those gears all nice and lubed up, so it's dripping there. So I think that's the perfect fill. So I just came back from a drive with the switched out diff fluid on the rear, and I can definitely tell a difference. It's a lot smoother. Power delivery is smoother and quieter. It doesn't feel as jarring, and I don't know how long the diff fluid will last, but I did remember when I first did my diff a long time ago, I kind of felt that same thing. So over time, over 20,000 miles, that diff fluid starts to deteriorate, especially if you're driving pretty hard. But after switching out the rear oil for some new stuff, it feels a lot smoother. I can't wait to see what the front diff oil will be like, because I don't think this car has ever had a front diff oil change. So stay tuned for that.